Hey guys, in this video I'll be continuing with the Python video tutorials. We'll be going over the remove method in regards to lists. The remove method is used in Python with lists. It removes an item from the list. You pass an item to the method as an argument or a parameter, and the first element containing that item is removed, so it's the first one that it finds. So if there's multiple items in the list, it's only going to remove one of them, which is the first one that it finds. Unless you loop it, unless you loop the method or you call it multiple times. I believe this reduces the size of the list by one element. So once you call the remove method once, it reduces the size of the list by one element. So if your list has 10 elements, then it'll shift it to 9 and remove one element. So all of the elements after the removed element are shifted one position towards the beginning of the list. So what that means is basically if you remove index 5 and you have 10 elements, then index 6 will get shifted down to 5, index 7 will get shifted down to 6, and so on. A value error exception is raised if the item is not found in the list. So I think we saw another method that we discussed earlier that was handled basically this way, or designed this way. So basically you have to try and accept if it's not found. Again, you can write your own method, list method, and return a boolean, for example. If it's not found, you can just return false. You don't have to try and accept anything. But in this case, I'll show you how to do it. So let's just get on to the example. So this is just the remove method. Did we do this? I don't believe we did this, but it's that's okay. So I don't think we did this yet. So let's just do the code. If we did do it, then we did it twice. That's alright. So we have let's just start with the main method, or the main main function. So we'll just have a foods list again. I think we used this. Excuse me. We used the a strings food list like this before. Oops, I can't spell pizza today. Okay, so we have pizza, burgers, wraps, panini. I don't know how to spell panini. Is that how you spell it? And then let's just say we have like chicken, and maybe just some vegetables. So we have a tomato, or technically it's a fruit, I think, but you get the idea. So that's it. So we have 6 elements. So then now we will print. Here are the items in the food list. So we'll just print we'll basically just print the items out. Or the items in the food list are. We'll print foods list, or food list. So we'll print food list, and then we will get an item to remove. So we'll say list item points to the input function, which prompts the user which item should remove, or which item do you want to remove. Question mark, new line, then we'll say try, we'll say food list dot remove. We'll pass in the list item. We'll print the new list. And we'll print the food list again. Whoops, not in a string, just the actual list. That should be all. We'll just have to accept here. So we will accept, let's see what we have to accept. So let's say, okay, so we have to accept a value error, because that's what the method throws if the item is not found in the list, as we said, or the element is not found. So we'll say accept value, is that a capital on it? Value error. Okay, so it's capital and camel cased. Actually, it's not technically camel case because the first letter is capital, but both words are capitalized, joined together, and then we have, so we'll just accept that. Then we'll print, so if this occurs, this exception occurs, we'll say that the item was not found in the list. So once again, if you don't accept this exception, the value error exception, and you try to find an item and you don't find it in the list, your code's going to terminate abruptly. It's going to stop the code and there's going to be an error exception. So you have to catch it if you want the code to run smoothly, just in case if it's not found, or as I said, you can create your own method to just return a false or something. So now after all that, we'll just have a main call and that's it. So we'll just save and run it. Don't think I need to step through that. So the items in the food list are, so it prints out our foods list, which item do you want to remove? So then we'll say we want to remove maybe like wraps. So then now pizza, burgers, wraps was removed, panini, chicken, tomato. I don't think I spelled panini right, but that's okay. So we have, that's pretty much it. I don't think I need to step through this, but we can. So I'll just put a breakpoint there. I'll click the debug icon. Okay, so we'll step into the main function. So foods list, it'll say we have a list, it's type string. Foods list points to our list. It'll print the message to the user in the console or the app, whatever, the device. So the items in the food list are, then it'll print the, so I'll step over this, it'll print the food list. Now list item's going to point, so the variable list item's going to point to a string, pretty much. Yeah, so this takes, so I think we have to enter a, so we have to enter something in the list. So we entered wraps. So in this case now, list item should, oh, did I stop it? Okay, so let me just get back to where we were. So I'll just type in wraps here. debugger, step in. Okay, so if you see here, it should say list item points to wraps the string. I think that's it right there. So now it's going to call this method foods list. I'll remove the list item from the list. So once we step over, you'll see that item get removed from the list. That's going to print the message new list printed. It'll print out the foods list again. Oh god, what happened there? Okay, so it printed out the list again. And then that's it. We could loop this, keep doing it, whatever. So it just printed out the list. That was a try. At the end of the try, the except block wasn't hit because there was no exception. That's the end of the code. Just want to try one thing. So let's step in here. So we know what happens there. Print. So let's just say we enter a number here. I think it's going to take an int in that case. So 2, unless it takes an index, which I don't think it does. So we said list item points to, yeah, so list item points to a string. Okay, so it takes 2 as a string, not an int. So just note that if you actually type in 2, it's not looking for it's not looking for an int, it's actually looking for a string. You might be able to find the reason why in the docs, the Python docs. Let's just say we change this to numbers. I think it has nothing to do with this, but we'll just trial and error it just to see. It's a good way to learn, so we'll just change these to numbers, like 1. I'll just do some random numbers. Anything. So obviously it's not going to be matching, like the instructions and stuff. We'll just let's just run it. Actually, whoops. Stop. So we'll click the debug icon. Unless there's a problem with this. Shouldn't be. Okay, so what's happening? Where is all this stuff here? Alright, so let's step in, step over, which item do you want to remove? Now let's type in 2 this time. Hit enter. Yep, it still takes a string, so it's something to do on the internal side of that method. It's looking for a string. So if you want to convert it to a number, of course you can just call the int function. You can cast it to the int function or the float function, whatever. And so yeah, so we've done that in previous videos. So it is, once again, it's looking for a string. So I'll just leave it there. I'll see you guys in the next video, which is the reverse method. So thanks for watching. You can like and subscribe to the channel if you'd like, and I'll see you guys next time.